What's up, good people? You know what time it is. Go ahead and turn your volumes up. I am on the road again. This is what I do. Welcome to another episode of BLAZIN Takes. I am Rick Blaze, and of course, I'm joined by my buddy in the studio, Siege. How we doing, brother?
Oh man, we're doing great. Another beautiful day to be here in the studio. You know, it's a nice studio that we actually, the bakery down the road brought in some cupcakes for us today, just to say hi. So, you know, it's nice in here. It's nice in here, I'll tell you that. But let's move on with our Neo region preview, and this next team I'm interested in. I think they got a high ceiling for one reason. Reigning Trays. Now, I could give you. We could talk about who the main guys are. It'll be a short one. Japhet Towns. This team starts, ends, wins, loses with Japhet Towns. Now, if we're gonna expand around that, I don't need to go too far into what Japhet Towns does. He is the best pure scorer in the league. To me, there's no question about that. Maybe some people might question that, but he is that guy. I know our friend Jeff Michaels, who's always in the threads, is always saying he's one of those guys who could step on a D1 program and be an impact player today. I think I agree with him on that one. He's got all of the things that make a player great, that make them great. So he is the beginning and the end of this team. Now, that being said, they brought in some guys this year. Jason Crosser's still there, 7'1", big guy, and then they added Brandon Crawford, another big man. So they got some size to get the rebounds for Japhet Towns. But I mean, really, I'm not sure what else to say about this team other than, as I've said twice already, and I'll say again, starts, ends, wins, loses with Japhet Towns.
I mean, yeah. In a single word, yes. Japhet Towns, I just watched some of their scrimmages as well, and Japhet Towns looks just as good as he looked last season. I'll tell you this, and I've said this before, and I'm only bringing this up just to really bring home the point how good Japhet Towns is. If Japhet Towns was a bit more athletic, he would be Zach LaVine or Tracy McGrady.
I think he's closer to Tracy McGrady. I think he's a better pure scorer than Zach LaVine ever was.
I think. Well, see, Zach and I in the best system in Chicago. What I mean by because like Japhet, Zach LaVine scores with ease. He gets his shots off with ease. Like everything is really easy. Like you're not. If he misses a shot, it's not because you stopped him. He's just missing.
Yep.
You're not stopping him from getting any shot he wants. Yeah. So Reigning Trays is going to be an interesting team. They lost the dunk guard, and so they're going to need some extra firepower on the offensive side of the ball. And there's two players I want to highlight here that I saw. I was like, okay, maybe we can do something. I like Asher Benedict.
Yeah.
As a pure point guard. But one guy that I think may get a chance to really show what he has, and he's really, really skilled, and he can play. He can fill in where the dunk guard left off at last year, and that's Jimmy King.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what he can do. He was kind of buried on that Bay Area roster last year, but I'm excited to see what he can do.
Yeah, I think Jimmy King has a shot to do some things. They're going to need him. So I'll say this: I was all in on the Jason Cross situation last year. And
Rick, you're cutting out a little bit. I don't know if it's a mic thing or it seems like you're going farther and closer.
What about now?
It's a little better.
Okay. I was all in on the Jason Cross situation last season, like most of us was. And he kind of disappointed a little bit. I mean, he wasn't bad, but he wasn't great. And so this season, as I see him, I think Jason Cross is close to his ceiling. So I don't think Reigning Trays are going to go to Jason Cross for any primetime offensive stats. So those other guys will have to step up. And if Japhet Towns can get just a little bit of help, Reigning Trays can be okay. If Japhet Towns does not get more help, Reigning Trays will struggle this season, in my opinion.
See, I see what you're saying. I don't necessarily disagree. Everyone needs a little bit of help. But I think that extra offensive firepower would not surprise me if it just came from Japhet. And people are going to say this is crazy. I am not going to be shocked if he puts up close to 30 a game this year.
He's going to CKC status.
This is what I'm saying. I think he is that guy. Now I could be wrong, and I know our friend Big Bob. He has put out his take that he thinks Jaffet was somewhat a product of Kevon Jackson. He thinks Jaffet might take a step, and I'll say it out flat if you couldn't already tell. Like, I holistically disagree with that take. I think if anything, Kevon Jackson was probably somewhat a product of Jaffet Towns. I think he'll still be successful where he goes, but Jaffet Towns is that guy. I would not be surprised, I'll say it again, I would not be surprised to see Jaffet average 25 or more a game, maybe even close to 30 this year, if that second option, whether it's Jimmy King, Asher Benedict, Brandon Crawford turns into a scorer as a big man, Jason Crosser shows up and is actually good. If someone doesn't step up, I could see him putting up almost 30 a game. So,
wow. That's, if anybody could do it, if anybody could come close to doing it, Jaffet will be the guy. And yep. I say he's better in the scrimmages I've seen. And the reason why I say he's looking better because in the scrimmages I've seen, he's now working on his game inside out. See, when you see Jaffet Towns, usually because you know him to pull up jump shot. But I've seen him take balls to the basket. And then, once he's abused you enough at the basket, then he's shooting a jump shot. He's looking more like a low-key Devin Booker right now early. Yeah. He's just kind of hitting everything everywhere on every aspect of the game. So if anybody can come close to scoring 30 a game, I believe Jaffet Towns will be that guy. He's definitely going to be top 5 in scoring this season without a doubt.
Without a doubt. But so we can only praise Jaffet Towns for so long. So I could go a little bit longer, but let's move on to our next team. It's going to be Heartland Zombie Stars. Now this one's interesting to me. New coach brought over Coach Loveless, and then their big signing, Benari James. Now, as we all know, Benari James is his own worst enemy when it comes to public perception and the media, things like that. We've seen him progress a lot. We're hoping to continue seeing him progress because what he can do on the court is incredible. I mean, he's going to be their guy this year. Plachi Young, they did retain Plachi Young and Honcho Hardwick even after the mass exodus after the leaving of Coach Skinny Washington, where he took Carter Fields and Renzo with him. Those two guys I think are still going to be key guys. And then their key recruit, they brought in Jaquan Johnson, big body. He looks like he could be their down low guy to go to next to Honcho Hardwick. So there's some interesting pieces here. We also know Jaquan Johnson showed signs of being a little outspoken, similar to Benari. So I think this team's worst enemy is going to be themselves if they can't rein it in and just play ball. Now, if they can, I am excited about what they've got going. They also got the Hilario brothers. AJ Blaylock came over with Coach Loveless. They have pieces. Robert McGee came over from Indy with Benari James. And like I said, Plachi Young showed a lot of good flashes last year. So they have pieces on this team. If Coach Loveless can rein them in and keep them focused and bought in on playing ball, this is going to be a good team.
I agree, 100%. Let's not get it twisted. This is Benari James' team. Especially on the offensive end. And Benari James looks stealthy right now. From what I've seen in the scrimmages, he's in the game, comes to him, and he's really helping notch. Hold on, Steve. I'm hearing some. You get some background noise?
I don't hear no background noise. I know you're on the road, though.
Oh, all right. That's probably what it is. Anyway, my man Benari's looking really, really good right now. All those other guys, Jaquan Johnson, and all those Hilario, but let me tell you something. They're going to need to have different shoe screens in. They're going to have name tags or something, because I still can't tell them apart yet. I don't know what all these damn brothers, I don't know who's who and what's what. I really all Hilario brothers. So, you got the Hilario brothers.
The best part, Rick, is that all of their first names start with D. So even if you're going to go initial last name, it's still all the same.
Yeah, I can't.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, I can't. I've been watching the scrimmages. I can't tell them apart. I don't know who's who. I really don't. So I'm just going to come to Hilario brothers until further notice. So the Hilario brothers, and then you got Benari James. This is going to be, now let me give Benari some credit. Off the field, off the court, he's been really, really good so far, right? We haven't heard his name into too much mess, into too much rumors. So I think there's some growth that's taking place, which is good for him. So with that being said, on the court, though, this team is going to need everybody to buy in. I think they're going to be a defensive-minded team. I think they're going to be kind of limited offensively. Bernard is the only guy I've seen that really can just uh, really kill it offensively. So I think that they're going to really rely and lean on him to get most of the offensive production. Hopefully, some of these guys step up, but most of these guys on the team for Heartland, besides Bernard, are defensive-minded guys. So I think they're going to be a low-scoring, grinded-out type team. But hey, it's Heartland. It's the Zombies. If anybody going to grind it out, you're the team to do it.
Yeah, and I mean, a defensive-minded team is not bad to have, especially with the home court and the fans that they do have. They're going to love that. So, again, Benari's going to create for everyone. If everyone can, they can identify some shooters who can knock down shots, and they can identify guys who can make good cuts to the basket. Benari will see the ball in Benari's hands, I would say close to 100% of the time that he's on the floor. If he's on the floor, it's going to run through him. I know that sounds crazy, but it just is what it is, at least to start, unless somebody else kind of identifies themselves as a secondary playmaker next to him, which is totally possible. And you know what? I might take that back because Plachi Young showed himself to be a pretty good ball handler and playmaker for his teammates last year. He's one of the only returners, so I do think he will have a role to play. Now, it wouldn't surprise me if they kind of stagger him with Benari so that when Benari's off the floor, they know that Plachi will be on the floor and he can run the offense. So there's some stuff outside him, but the only scorer that we know of, you're right, is Benari, James. So it'd be interesting to see what Coach Loveless does with that team.
Yeah, and it's going to be very interesting to see how that works, and I'm excited to see. I got already circled in my calendar, Heartland versus Queen City. So that's going to be just fireworks all the way around. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how Coach Lovelace works this team out. He has a very interesting team, but if you a grinded out team, I ain't mad at that, especially at the prep level. I ain't mad at that at all.
Not at all. Well, hey, those are our team for the day. We'll have 2 more from the Neo region for you tomorrow. Don't miss out on that. Again, not going to tell you who they are. You're going to have to tune in. But, hey, cuss and discuss. Let us know what you think of these teams. They scare you? Did they not scare you? Did we miss something? We didn't. Yeah, let us know down low. Rick, you got anything for the people?
Hey, man, make sure y'all, when you listening to the podcast, make sure you guys like and subscribe if you haven't done that already. Once you're listening, go ahead and hit that like button, whether it's mine or anybody else's when they do the pod, man. Let's just keep this thing rolling. SimWorld, we're doing big things. And shout out to all the new recruits. Shout out to our new Dr. Wesley that joined us, right? Joined the team. So we're just doing big things around here. We want everybody to be involved in the big things we got going here in SimWorld, man. That's it. That's all I got.
And we'll see y'all on tomorrow.
Tomorrow.